on that I missed before. Good morning, Miss Dunn. Good morning, Osawas. Good morning, Miss Ciela and family. Very true, Mr. Graboy, very true. Who else hopped on?
Like there's chat happening that I can't see. That's distressing, but okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the strangest and hopefully only virtual banquet we will ever have. Hello. Waving to everybody. Hopefully everybody kindly waves back. We'll use that instead of clapping and applause for the time being. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. Anyone that's watching this during or after the fact, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a year, hasn't it? 364 days since our last banquet, and boy, nothing interesting happened at all, did it? This is the awards banquet that we are having this year. This is going to be the first awards banquet we have ever had that is virtual. Hopefully this will be the last awards banquet we ever have that is virtual. This is also, for the first time ever, the first awards banquet we're having where we're recording the whole thing. So that's a huge change from what we've done in the past, and hopefully we'll be able to look back on this and think, wow, what a crazy old time that was. I mentioned this to most of you earlier, but I want to repeat this again. By about February the 11th, weather permitting, I'm going to be getting all of the awards and certificates of nomination out to the various dojangs so that your kyosas and you guys can connect and figure out when you're going to be picking those up. Timing of such things is going to be kind of up to the individual kyosas and their crazy schedules, so please bear with us as we figure all that out. With that said, what's going to be happening today is myself and the other kyosas, the leadership team, we're going to be hanging out. We're going to be eating some food in your faces. We're going to be talking at you, myself especially, as always, talking at you a whole lot about what the last year has been, what's been going on, what we're foreseeing for the year that's coming up. We're going to be handing out, I think it's 16 different awards. Those of you who didn't know, we do have a shiny little banquet program you guys can check out that has the nominees for most of the awards. There's a couple that didn't get nominee lists because either I wanted them to be a surprise or because it was last minute, because the key up contest and the flexibility contest were very last minute. We had a ton of entries in the last 24 hours of the contest for the yells. My goodness. But that said, very simply, I'm going to dive in. We're going to hand out some awards. I'm going to hand off the microphone to our leadership team. Oh, I should announce the leadership team just in case anyone for some reason doesn't know who they are. I'm Master Masaki. Hopefully everyone does know who I am. We have present Master Bossetter hanging out with his lovely wife and newborn son. We've got Miss Dodge, Kyosa of the Fitchburg location. She's waving her hands like a maniac. We've got Mr. Fallon, who's helping out with the controls this afternoon for the banquet. We've got to my left, Mrs. Masaki, who keeps me sane in these crazy times. And I think that's it for the leadership team. Did I forget anybody? I hope not. We've got some amazing folks joining us from far away, like Master Wilmer. We've got a lot of black belts in the audience, which is extraordinary. Hello there. And I think that's what's up. One more time, I'm going to say that the chat is open for anyone that would like to be talking to everybody via text. We've got the message from Mr. Graboy saying, amazing that a year ago we didn't know how to do any of this nonsense. Very, very much true. And I think it's an amazing opportunity to turn this huge negative into a positive, because despite the fact that we can't be together, we are together. And that's really awesome. And I'm really happy for it. One last thing, I do want to apologize in advance for all the lag that I will probably end up having. YouTube has no sound. That's exciting. Let's see if I can resolve that on the fly. Super fun. Can anyone else confirm that there is no sound on the YouTube, or is it just them? Bum, 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 bum. So again, wouldn't be a banquet if we started on time. Got to stick with tradition. Just so I know that I'm not speaking to a dead audience. If anytime I'm being stupid and telling bad jokes, if you want to put up some kind of emoticon saying that you approve or disapprove of the terrible humor I'm utilizing, it's much appreciated. Oop. Okay, so there is sound coming out of
Now it's in.
there's sound happening, so hopefully it's happening. And we will go back to some award stuff. I have sound, I have sound. I can hear you talk on YouTube. Thank you very much, folks. There is sound. Okay, so just so we've got this straight, Miss Culp and Miss Culp are both crazy. Got it. All right. Moving on. So we're going to dive right into it with some awards, because that's what we're here for, after all. We're starting out with awesome attitude. And awesome attitude, check the mute button or sound levels on your computer. Fabulous. Attitude, it's been said a lot in our school by other people that attitude is very much a choice that you make. Because the bottom line is you cannot help yourself if you're hungry. You cannot help yourself if you're tired. You cannot help yourself if you're cranky. These are all things that you are absolutely positively permitted to be. But the attitude that you display with all of those elements happening determines a lot. And in the last year, that's been incredibly important to maintain a positive, good attitude despite everything that's going on that's outside of our control. The leadership team knows this incredibly well. I know this incredibly well. Every parent that's watching this knows this incredibly well, that managing to maintain a positive atmosphere and positive attitude within the home is difficult when there's so much that's up in the air and unknown. And we have an incredible number. So backstory real quick. The way that this works, the Kyosas and I, we get together over Thanksgiving break and we say, who are we nominating for what awards? Who did we see doing the thing and being amazing and whatnot? And there are a few of these awards where we had a really hard time slimming things down to a reasonable number. And so the Awesome Attitude Award is the first one where there's a ton of nominees that I get to read off. And I apologize if I manage to get any names wrong. So in alphabetical order-ish, we have nominated for the Awesome Attitude Award, Katie Binder, Rylan Berkovitz, Kai Kachiguango, Portia Cermak, Miss May Dreyer, Pius Frenzer, Phoenix Fetter, Benny Gurman, Jason Gutierrez, Moses Garcia, Estella Kohler, Sho Kuznetsov, Fiona Lawrence, Diego Moreno Palumbi, Eva Mowbray, Kaylin Falumali, Jack Speed, and Nicholas Silva. And in no particular order, I'm being handed by my fabulous assistant. The winners, we have young Katie Binder. We have young, I almost dropped that. That would have been terrible. Phoenix Fetter. And we have Jack Speed. Congratulations to our first award winners. Thank you very, very kindly. Well done. Kids, you guys, every day, with everything that's going on, with how much your world has changed in the last year, every day that you manage to maintain a positive attitude, that you are doing as your parents ask you to do, that you are training hard, that you're getting your homework done, that you're helping out around the house, that you're keeping yourselves and your parents from going crazy with everything that's going on, is a victory every single day. And hopefully all of us can appreciate the amazing job that kids and parents are doing of maintaining those positive attitudes. So really well done. Next, the award that would be the Adorable Award, and sadly we can't do our adorable photo shot that we normally would do every year, the Little Giant Award, one of our favorites. These are for our littlest students that have the most amazing, biggest attitudes and spirits, and an amazing list of kids for this. So we have Rylan Berkovitz, Max Dunlap, Caius Frenzer, Hannah Klatt, Henry Lykip, Aaron Wenham, and Adam Wenham. And this one was tough, so tough. But it went to a pair of young men, Aaron and Adam Wenham. Congratulations, boys. Really well done. You guys are awesome. We love you. Keep up the great work. My notes are all messed up, so hold on one second. I don't, because I can't read that nearly as well as this. I have to. Oh no. Okay. It is what it sounds. Okay. Oh, this one's fun. Okay, so before I hand the mic off for the first time, I gotta bring up a different set of notes because I thought of these last night. What a year, folks. 2020 was a thing that happened. We started out as normal as you please. We had a black belt testing. We had a banquet where we were all together, and there was a lot of us. We went off to a little tournament down in Illinois. We had a testing, and the weekend of our testing in March, things were looking a little dire in some parts of the country. And I made the incredibly panicked decision, which in hindsight was really good, to shut us down immediately after that testing. And for months and months, we didn't get to see each other in the flesh. We shut down the school for face-to-face classes. We, after a few weeks, figured out how this Zoom craziness works, and we started doing classes online. And to those of you who are early adapters to doing the classes online, we thank you so much for hanging out with us, because it was a complicated process, those of you that joined us early on. Some nights it was a mess. There was a whole lot of confusion with passwords and logins and people struggling with their technology. And at the same time we were doing that with our online classes, all of you kids were dealing with the exact same stuff with your schooling. And I can't imagine that was fun or easy. And then we had some positive things happen. We, myself and Mrs. Masaki, we got married in 2020. And it's one of the huge reasons why I can never say that 2020 was a bad year. Because if I do, Mrs. Masaki will slap me, and that would be unfortunate. During 2020, Miss Dodge and Mr. Fallon got recognized for their next ranks. Miss Dodge got to her third dan, and Mr. Fallon got to his second, which is amazing. During the summertime, despite all the craziness, Mr. Fallon ran an amazing summer camp, and we got to start up classes again at the East Side and at Fitchburg. And Miss Dodge and Master Bossetter ran incredibly safe, incredibly thorough classes, and the people that were able to join us for those classes, they had a really great time while it lasted. And we had a few months where it was starting to look like it would go back to normal, and then fall happened. And boy, did it happen to us really hard. And a lot of us went through struggles again. But at the same time that was happening, we had another amazing thing happen in our community. The Bossetters got to announce, hey, we're having a baby, quarantine baby, hooray. And we got more good news. And it's amazing that despite all the chaos and the craziness, that we as a community cannot look at 2020 and say summarily, boy, what a lousy year. Because so much of us had things to celebrate despite it being a really rough year. And we can certainly say it was a rough year, it was a chaotic year, it was a messy year. But for most of us, it really can't be looked at as purely a bad year, because there were so many good things that happened. And it's lovely that at the start of this new year, we get to start saying, hey, here's all this stuff we have to look forward to. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But first, I'm going to hand off the microphone and eat my soup and let Mrs. Masaki hand off what years ago was the Dojang Rat Award, which some people were offended by. It became the Dedicated Student Award. And this year, we're going back to the Rat Award. It's the Zoom Rat Award. So I hand it off to Mrs. Masaki, and I'm going to scoot off camera.
So as Master Masaki said, in a normal year, we would have the Dojang Rat Award, which is those students who are so dedicated, they're at so many classes that we really suspect that they are living somewhere in the Dojang in secret. And this year we all pretty much lived in our own Dojangs for the most part, because we were in our own houses. And it's very difficult sometimes to be motivated to do class from your house. There's TV, there's other people to talk to, there's so many distractions and so many excuses for why you can't take class. So these students who were nominated for this award were on Zoom all the time. They were coming to class 2-3 classes a night. They were extremely dedicated to overcoming those distractions and getting online, even with technical difficulties sometimes. So the nominees for the hopefully first and last ever Zoom Rat Award are Jaylee and Giselle Diebels, Benny Gurman, Eva Mowbray, Jace Peterson, Jack Speed, Michaela and Nico Silva, and Aaron and Adam Wenham. And my Vanna White has disappeared on me. Sorry. The winners are Eva Mowbray, Nico Silva, and Michaela Silva. But I just want to say good job to all of you who have been pushing forward and being dedicated in this craziness of Zoom and getting up and doing the classes. And you are done. So you take this back now, or? Oh, it's Miss Dodge.
Yeah.
Miss Dodge is up next.
Oh my gosh, do I just go right into it?
If that's okay with you, Ms. Dodge, we're going to mute
Ooh.
ourselves.
A little nervous, even though I'm sitting in my own home. It's okay. Here we go. The next award, if you're not looking at the banquet program, is for the Exemplary Performer Award, which I've had the privilege of doing this for 2 years now. Last year at the banquet, I chose this one, and this year I also chose it. I chose this award because it's very near and dear to my heart, because I myself have been a performer for the last 15, 16 years here with PAX Martial Arts. I've also had the privilege of running the competition team for the last 2 seasons. As we know, team is devoted to training hard, winning, and yes, sometimes losing. And last year, as I reflect on 2020, we lost a lot last year. We lost the tournament seasons. We lost team training, and of course, my favorite part, the memories that team builds. It's hard to pick an exemplary performer in a year without any trophies or tournaments or medals, or so I thought. Those who were nominated in this category showed up and trained hard despite being in their basement. They prove that you don't need me, Miss Dodge, to be constantly yelling at you to work hard, even though sometimes it's a really good motivator and pretty funny. I'm so proud of the following nominees for showing their indomitable spirit, perseverance in a year that tested them so greatly. I present this year's nominees. For the exemplary performer, we have Luke Cermak, Aaliyah Graves, Mr. John Klatt, Miss Trinity Culp, Fiona Lawrence, Danielle McCarthy, Miss Ciela Schwartz-Mooney, Mr. Isaac Sund, Justin Bubba Speed, and Mr. Andrew Yan. And the winners of this category go to Aaliyah Graves and Fiona Lawrence. Woohoo! Sorry, did I do that too fast with the names? Yay, nice job, ladies. And girls, 2 girls at that. Woo, nice job. Excellent. Woo. Can't wait. And I think we go into.
So now
Yeah.
is the slightly technical part where we are going to be asking all of you guys to please turn your cameras off for a few minutes. Mr. Fallon is hopefully queuing up a shiny video for our traditional Beethoven. Need to be made host or co-host. Very good. Hold on one second, Mr. Fallon. Hooray for technical. Make host. All right. Good luck, Mr. Fallon. Hopefully it works. And if not, we're going to have a whole lot of. So bear with us.
All right, great. Everything So we did have to lower the resolution for this to work over the stream. So if you'd like to see their performance in full HD, you can check it out on our YouTube channel.
All right, so as everyone comes back, we're going to do a big round of applause. Just a second. Freeze. So, please, everybody, to the best of your ability, big round of applause for Beethoven. Awesome. And with that, I hand the mic back to Miss Dodge and Joe.
Woo! Okay, here we go. The next award that I will be telling you guys about is the Hardest Worker Award. Again, reflecting on 2020, in a year where there was so much negativity and there were so many bad things happening. There were also some really good moments, like Master Masaki had touched on earlier, that made like such bright lights throughout the year for us. And the brightest light, especially in my life, was seeing you guys on Zoom. So you guys were the light in my very dark year last year. You continually showed up day after day, progressing and living through a pandemic, signing on for class, whether that be after you did a full day of online school or working from home. You guys showed up, you know, showing perseverance, putting in the work when things are really hard and not giving up. I'm really, really pleased to announce that some of the hardest workers I know, in a world where it's so easy to give up, these students did not. So we have, for the Hardest Worker Award nominees, Nolan Anderson, Katie Binder, Luke Bell, Portia Cermak, Ellie Fleminger, Miss Marion Good, Moses Garcia, Isaiah Hansen, David Junkapust, Harmony Krieger, Cy Fanasteel, Miss Ellie Sund, Stella Speed, Evelyn Tran, and Roan Thorpe. Well done, all of you. The winners of the Hardest Worker Award go to Ellie Fleminger, Harmony Krieger, and Evelyn Tran. Again, 3 girls. Woo, sweeping this. Just kidding. But well done. Well done, everybody. Hard workers all around. Girls, way to go.
Since she keeps bringing it up, I'm going to remark on it because and some of this has to do with, for whatever reason, and people are seeing this across the board, boys are having a much harder time with doing the online stuff in general, whether it's class educational wise or class with us. But, and sorry to all the boys, the girls in 2020, the female population of PECs absolutely crushed the number of girls we had in class. Like there were so many online classes where it was just dominated by girls. Miss Dodge's girls class, Mrs. Masaki's girls classes on Fridays. They got to be the biggest we've seen since Master Wilmer was around. And that's really saying something when our population shrank due to COVID. Boys, every single boy that showed up to class is amazing. And I do want to make sure that's clear because again, for whatever reason, boys coming to the online class, seeing themselves on camera is a lot harder. But the girls have been such a powerful part of our school. And frankly, when we start growing again, I really anticipate that we are going to be the most girl-friendly, the most girl-populated school in the Madison area, if not in the state. It's going to be really crazy. And you girls that have worked so hard, that have been there for each other, you're a really big reason for that. And then amazing girl black belts that we've got, like Miss Dodge, Master Wilmer, Master Needham, from long time ago, Miss Cassie Peck, and then these new girl black belts that we've got in droves, Miss Ciela, Miss Marion, Miss Dreyer. It's just gross how amazing the girls we've got are. And I should probably mention Mrs. Masaki and Mrs. Bossetter, otherwise, again, you're gonna slap me. But just an extraordinary group of girls. And so really well done, all of you. And really well done to the boys that are brave enough to show up to class when there are so many girls to scare them. Good job. Next up, regrettably, I had to be the one to endure all of this. I made the mistake of starting to judge this with earphones in, and there's a couple of you kids that I don't like very much anymore because I lost some hearing because of this. We're going to talk about the Kia trophy, okay, the kings and queens of Kia. And wow, you guys are loud on camera. And parents, as always, as I say every year, boy, I'm really sorry to any of you that have a kid that was nominated for this award because your homes must be very loud. I'll be honest, I totally ended up copping out on this award because we had a bunch of entries and there were two that I had a really hard time picking between. And I ended up just giving the award to both of them because they happen to live together. But I'll get to them in just a second. I do want to give out a couple of runner-up awards. David Junkapust, I'm not a big fan of yours anymore because you were the guy where I had the earphones in and I pressed play and my ears hurt because of you. And so had to take those out and replay everybody. Otherwise it was going to hurt too much. Katie Bender, Jack Speed. I'm really sorry to your parents that you guys are so loud. Wow, you guys are loud. That said, can you kindly hand me the giant, scary trophy? These two young ladies were so close in having the loudest Kia that I have to hope that they can share this trophy in their home. Irena and Ayano Osawa. Oh my goodness, you two monsters are so loud. And Mom, I'm so sorry. Really well done. This will be waiting for you when you're ready. But you two have to share, and if you don't, then I'm going to have a discussion with Mom about who's going to get the different halves of the trophy that we'll cut in half. Flexibility. So, I was honestly expecting to not get as many entries as we did because I know for me personally, my flexibility died during the pandemic. I stretched so infrequently. I was really bad at it. And to any of you that managed to maintain your freakish flexibility, incredible job. But there's one of you that has splits that I swear could you could have your feet up higher than the floor. You're going beyond 180 degrees. It's creepy. And so again, if Mrs. Masaki would kindly hand me the really big scary trophy. Young Giselle Diebels. This is going to be waiting for you at the West Side when you guys are ready. My goodness, young lady, you are terrifying with the Gumby. Ask your parents what that is. Okay, moving on. This is not on your program, but the leadership team have been discussing what's going on with the world and return to face-to-face classes, and we decided to announce what our situation is here at the banquet. We've been really hesitant to start up classes because of various factors. We do feel like everything in Dane County is headed in the right direction. So right now the plan is that we are going to resume limited face-to-face classes as of the week of February the 22nd. So in 2 weeks' time, we're in 2 weeks? Oh, I'm sorry, so yeah, 2 weeks, okay. In 2 weeks' time, we're gonna be starting up our face-to-face classes, hopefully at all 3 locations. We do reserve the right to stop that if things suddenly take a turn for the worse, but we really believe that things are going better. We're going to be putting together schedules and sending out emails to anyone who is participating in the face-to-face classes before. You guys are going to be getting first dibs on the new classes that will be coming up. And then if everything goes right for a couple weeks, mid-March or so, we'll expand that schedule out a little bit. So once again, face-to-face classes are tentatively going to resume the week of February the 22nd. That is immediately after our Taekwondo Snow event. And then we'll hopefully be expanding those classes more in March. So yay for going back to face-to-face. We miss you guys terribly. It's been really hard not just opening up again, but we wanted to be extra careful. And with that, I get to move on to one more award before I hand off the microphone again. Outstanding youth students. Again, young people. How are you making it to class when you've spent like 3 hours looking at a screen, having to endure your teachers, and then you have to endure us yelling at you about kicking higher and turning your hip more and focusing and all that? And so once again, we have a pretty long list because we just couldn't bring it down enough. So here are your nominees for Outstanding Youth Students. We have Austin Anderson, Emery Aiken, Leo Aventi, Nolan Anderson, Sarah Anderson, no relation, Luke Bell, Miss Sophia Bostetter, Tanny Cadena, Mr. Gregory Folkway, David Dunkapust, Holden Kurth, Diego Moreno Palumbi, Jesse Mai, Ayano Osawa, Thomas Rentmeister, and Miss Kate Vera. And the winners for the Outstanding Youth Award are Emery Aiken, Nolan Anderson, and David Junkapust. Congratulations, winners. Thank you very much. Well done, well done. And then one other quick reminder that I keep talking about, Taekwondo Snow. We're getting together at Mineral Point Park, which is between Jefferson Middle School and Muir Elementary. We're asking everyone to please wear your masks and heavy snow gear so that we can use you guys as sleds, have a good old time out in the snow together, because outside, if we're all masked up, it seems to be super safe. And we think that because you guys are so disciplined and awesome, we can have a really big gathering and have a really great time. So hopefully most of you guys can join us. It's going to be noon on February the 20th. There's no sign up necessary. Just show up. We're going to hang out for a couple hours and hopefully have a great time. And with that said, I am going to hand off the microphone to Master Bostetter, who's going to hand out a couple of awards for us. Muting, and hopefully he's unmuting. I've lost track of where he's at. There's too many of you.
Got it. He's up in the-
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Bye-bye.
Hey, hello. Okay, so hi everyone. This is Master Bostetter over at his house in the east side next to my wife. And so speaking of which, I'm going to be doing the Outstanding Family Award. And it's great where I see a whole bunch of families in martial arts together. So personally, when I had my little daughter, who's now 13, I said, she's getting martial arts. And I gotta say, the reason I stuck with it is because of Master Masaki. He was her first teacher on the first day. That made me think I need to stay here because I like the vibe. I like the way they teach. And so it always makes me happy when I see a whole bunch of parents get their kids involved and think, okay, I'll get my other kid involved, and I'll get myself involved, and maybe my husband or wife. And now we can get all as a big group. And the great thing is, unlike some other seasonal things, we can do this all the time. So it's a great activity for all the time. It's a great activity for being working out. But it's also a good motivator because you don't have the excuse to not be there, because your ride is there with you. So that's why I love martial arts, because it's a great activity for all people. So let's go through the list of all the nominations for the family award. So start off, I have the Cermak family, then I have the Diebels family, and the Flemingers, and the Junkapus family, also the Culp family, the Dross McCarthy family, Silva family, and Speed family, Sun family, and the Weigel family. And the winners for the family award, outstanding family award, would be the Junkapust family. Ta-da! And we have the Speed family. Also, ta-da! And the Weigel family. Da, da, da. Yay! All right, congratulations, awesome families for Pets Martial Arts. Okay, did you want to go right into the next award?
So Master Bossetter, you kindly have 2 in a row. You're up
Yes.
next for Respectful. Go ahead.
We want to go right into that. Okay, well then, in that case, also my next award is going to be for the Most Respectful Award. And respect often goes hand in hand with martial arts. We do sparring, we do board breaking. A big thing that goes along with it too is also being respectful for your students, to the instructors, to your family members, to your parents especially. And the great thing is, it's one thing they can use all the time. I mean, how often do you use the sidekick in real life? Not often, but how often are you respectful? Really all the time. So nice thing is, martial arts across the board will pretty much always teach that aspect. And I think we uphold it very well at PEX Martial Arts. So I got a big list going for this award. So nominees for Most Respectful are going to be H.R. Britton and Sellers Bell, Luke Cermak, Aaliyah Graves, Mr. Dan Graboy, Shahid Grant, Caleb Hager, Hannah Klatt, Cy Benesteel, Porter Talbot, Brecken Weigel, and also Bria Walker. And the winners for the Most Respectful Award are going to be H.R. Britton, Caleb Hager, and Miss Hannah Klatt. Woo! RESPCT. Woo! Okay.
Thank you very kindly, Master Bossetter. All right. Year to come. Normally, I would be talking about stuff with a lot more certainty than what I'm about to. And so I want to make clear that everything I'm about to talk about is that whole tentative schedule subject to change, blah, blah, blah. I do want to let you guys know that there are a few things that we are absolutely positively planning on, because we have faith that things are on the upswing, that we are going to be able to accomplish these things, at least to a certain degree. First and foremost, really important to a lot of parents, we are planning on running camp this summer. Mr. Fallon proved that he can run an amazing camp last summer that was safe and secure and all that, and things should be even in an even better spot as far as COVID and everything else by this coming summer. The plan right now is that between Mr. Fallon and Ms. Dodge, we're going to be running camp out of at least one location, if not 2. We're going to be bringing in some help. Exact format is unknown. We're going to be kind of figuring that out as we get closer and closer. The one thing I will tell you guys is right now we are planning on limiting camp exclusively to our community, because we know, you guys proved it, last summer that you guys can keep each other safe, you can keep us safe, you can keep your family safe. And because of that, we want to play it as safe as possible and continue with what worked. We are at the moment planning on having a spring break camp, which I should have put in my notes and didn't, but I believe it's like the last week, no, first week in April? Hang on, folks. Dun, dun, dun. It's in my notes, I swear. There it is. So from March the 29th through April the 2nd, there's a whole bunch of area schools that are shut down. We're planning on having some kind of camp to those that want it during that week. I'm also, and apologies to the leadership team because I'm blindsiding you with this one. We are right now planning on running the picnic this summer. Okay. The plan is to have the picnic this August or late in July. Of all people, and I love her to death, she keeps calling me with these wonderful ideas. Master Needham came up with this brilliant format for the picnic that if we're not completely safe by the time we get there, you guys are going to bring your own food. Nice and simple. Okay, everybody brings their own sack lunch. That way we're not having to use communal spaces for the eating. That keeps everybody safe. And then on top of that, we can have a nice, amazing outdoor tournament, lay out the mats at a park, hand out some trophies, maybe even break some boards if things are safe enough, and have a fantastic time doing a fun, friendly outdoor event. So please know that we've got that to look forward to. Late in the summer, we're planning on doing the picnic in 2021. We are hopeful that all of the schools are getting their acts together and that by the fall, between vaccinations and people keeping each other safer and everything else, that schools will be back in session. And we are hoping that we will be running after school at least 2 of our locations. We are planning on having belt testings going on as they've been going on. We're going to have a couple of back belt testings this year. One I believe we're planning on in April and another one in the summer or early fall. And then all the usual routine. Again, hope beyond hope. This fall, we might see the return of the Masters Cup sparring league. We all missed it desperately. It was awful being without the Masters Cup. Those of you who have done it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is the funnest thing you can do in sparring other than nationals, which is sometimes not so fun because of the kicks to the face. And so those are sort of our tentative plans for big things coming up in 2021. At this second, we are not planning on having any kind of indoor tournaments. We are not planning on having any kind of indoor large-scale events. And we're going to see how things are going by 2022 as to what the format exactly of the banquet is going to be. But I'm very hopeful that it will be looking good and we'll all be able to see each other face to face. And so that's the year to come. And now I have no idea why I'm the one handing this out. I'm going to hand out the Exquisite Technician Award, even though of the 4 leadership team, I'm the worst technically. So it takes extraordinary discipline. It takes extraordinary physical ability to be a fantastic technician at this, to throw your crazy kicks, to do your punches and your stances perfectly. I wish I would have thought of giving this award to Master Wilmer to hand out because she epitomizes being an exquisite technician. And so everybody on this list, you guys all have shown either the capacity or the ability to be photogenic in your technique, in your form, in your ability. And so nominees for Exquisite Technician are Grant Drost, Miss Kaylee Dunn, Ellie Flemminger, Miss Marion Good, Laura Hansen, Miss Sophie Jenkins, Kestrel Merwood, Kira McKittrick, Irena Osawa, Mr. Luke Rogers, Liza Richardson, and Miss Ellie Sund. And our 2 award winners for this, we have Miss Kaylee Dunn and Miss Sophie Jenkins, both of which are vying really hard for the title of Next Master Wilmer. So congratulations, incredibly well done. And now I get to hand things off to Mr. Fallon. I'm also going to hand off host so we don't have that same technical issue as before. Host. Mr. Fallon, it's to you.
All righty. I get to lead off with the Most Improved Award, and it's one of my favorite awards to present. I got to do it last year, and I'm glad I get to keep this tradition going. As someone who started off struggling mightily in martial arts, it really warms my heart to see that these students have the same drive, passion, and love for martial arts that I had when I first started. These students face challenges not only in martial arts this year, but also dealing with the entire year of 2020. And nevertheless, they stuck with it. They went outside and trained. They trained in their basements. They kicked some trees. They hopefully too many times, but they made this a priority, and their parents made this a priority. And they kept working and training, and somehow, with everything that happened, they got even better than they've ever been before. So with that said, here are the nominees for the Most Improved Students of last year. Emery Aiken, Alexi Britton, Nora Carlson, Elise Frank, Amy Gutierrez, Mr. Jacobson, Holden Kurth, Jesse Mai, Mr. Rogers, Miss Ciela, and Mr. Stapleton. All of these students have demonstrated tremendous resolve and a great work ethic to get where they are today. With that being said, our Most Improved Award winners are Nora Carlson, Elise Frank, and Mr. Jacobson. And I feel very lucky that for part or all of the last year, I got to work with all three of them. I got to work with Nora over the summer camp program, and she came in doing camp. You do 3 classes a day. She was there 4 days a week. That's 12 classes every single week. She came in and busted her butt and continued to improve. It was awesome to see. From June to August was a completely different student, not only physically, but also with her respect and discipline. It was amazing to see. Elise was really hitting her stride in the beginning of the year. It was awesome to see. The wheels were clicking, the light switches were turning on, and then the pandemic happened and everything got shut down. But then she started hopping onto Zoom classes and kept working hard. And then when in-person became an option, she came back and kept working hard. And I am extremely proud of the perseverance that she showed from the beginning of the year all the way through the end with everything that was thrown at her. It was awesome to see. And Mr. Jacobson asks some of the most amazing questions I have ever been asked in a classroom. Things that, even though I've been doing martial arts for over a decade, that I haven't even thought of. So I have to do my own research. I have to reach out to Master Masaki and other black belts, and his questions, his work ethic, his drive, not only makes me better, but inspires me to keep working. So congratulations, Mr. Jacobson, as well. So that being said, after several months of Mr. Klatt and I doing a demo in secret, we are going to premiere our Bushido bow staff demo. So if I can ask everyone to turn off their cameras, we're going to mute everybody. And once again, the resolution will be a little low so that we can stream it and have you guys see it here. So I recommend that for Beethoven and for the bow staff demo, and maybe another video after the banquet, that you go check it out in HD, because the HD looks amazing. Let me stop that and share screen.
Okay, that was amazing. I loved that so much. Well done, Mr. Fallon and Mr. Klatt. Wow.
Thank you. Big shout out to Mr. Klatt. He led our Bushido class earlier this year. It was so much fun working with him and creating that whole sequence from scratch. A couple bruised fingers, maybe almost broke a few things in the dojang, but at the end of the day, it was awesome. So once again, I recommend checking out the Beethoven demo and our Bushido demo in HD instead of 240p, which is what we had to do for streaming. So make sure you check both of those out and maybe a third video after the banquet. But back to the awards at hand. We're going to the Rising Star Award. So our Rising Star Award aims to recognize our novice and intermediate ranks that have put in the hard work now to set up a bright future for themselves in the martial arts world. These individuals show a strong desire to get better, practice at home, arrive early, stay late, and set themselves up for not only success in martial arts, but later in life with these strong work habits. These students also shine as a light in the classroom with their focus and attitude as an exemplary student for all of them. The nominees for the Rising Star are Anderson, Ben Charles, Nora Carlson, Phoenix Fetter, Judah Hager, Estella Kohler, Sho Kuznetsov, Kestrel Muirwood, Michaela Silver, and Lauren Walker. All of these students have tremendous potential and have put in an extraordinary amount of work given the circumstances of the past year. But our three winners for the Rising Star Award are Ben Charles, Judah Hager, and Kestrel Muirwood. Excellent work to all of our rising stars. Before I hand the mic back to Master Masaki, I just wanted to take a moment and to all of you, our community. I think it says a lot of how full this Zoom room is. I didn't know you could go to separate pages in this, so that was awesome to figure out today. And it's no secret that last year was rough, but at the same time, it didn't seem as bad because at least for myself, I had all of you as members of the community. And I really look at our martial arts community as a family. I got a lot of love for all of my coworkers, my people I look up to, my students, the parents who support their children. It's really lucky for me to be in a position to not only teach what I love, but to work with families, students, parents, adults that also have that passion. And I feel grateful to Master Masaki for putting me in a position that someone could admire or look up to me. But I think the big thing is that I look up to and admire so many of our parents and students that have gotten through this year. Looking at the campers I ran, we had so many new rules. We had to wear masks. We had to do extra cleaning. We had maybe a quarter of the field trips we'd normally have. And they came in every day with a great attitude and made the most of it. And they really inspired me to keep working harder for them. Our students who are outside kicking trees and running around in the snow and kicking snowballs and maybe throwing snowballs at each other. You know, I look up to you guys keeping that amazing attitude and inspiring me to keep going and keep pushing. To the parents who had every reason to cut things out to make this year easier. You guys stuck with us and made this a priority. And that meant a lot to all of us to see you guys put that value and stock in us, myself, and the panel. And to my black belts, especially the couple I've been working with a lot these past couple months and this past year in general. You guys ask questions. You guys do form and sparring and self-defense so differently than me. And you inspire me to find those different ways and to embrace them instead of just sticking with what I know. I just wanted to say that admiration goes both ways. And I hope that everyone can take that lesson in humility, that whether it's a child, a teenager, an adult, you can always be inspired and look up to someone. So thank you all for a great year to 2021.
Pause. Okay. So we're in the final stretch, folks. The next award, Outstanding Adult, is one that we have treated with incredibly high regard for a really long time. And it's not necessarily because adults are better students than kids are, than teens are. Some adults are kind of lousy students because they talk too much and think too much and don't have an open mind. But also adults have far better basis of control, focus, of understanding about how the body works. And so adults can be delightful to teach. But the thing with adult students, and every single parent, every adult student who has ever been with our school can attest to this, it is so hard to carve out time in your life to do a thing that is supposed to be for kids. And you do it. You go to class, you train, you make the time, you make the effort, you do the thing. And in this past year, any adult that came to a single Zoom class, that came to a single face-to-face class, in this cacophony of craziness that was 2020, being an adult student in martial arts is so hard. And I'm really proud of you guys for what it's worth, or for how extraordinary you have been and the dedication you had to have to make the time to be in our classes. So thank you very much to our adult students. You guys are amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing those numbers increase in 2021 because the big adult classes are so much fun to teach, especially when we get to do self-defense. So I'm really excited for those in late 2021. That's it. Our most amazingest, outstandingest, and every single adult student we've got is extraordinary, but we had to limit it down. Nominees: David Diebels, Dan Kapust, Un Suk Jung, Danielle McCarthy, Mr. Ryan McKittrick, Miss Kiana Key, Madeline Rogers, Craig Stevenson, Justin Bubba Speed, Mr. Jay Timmerman, Lauren Walker, and Mr. Andrew Young. And really proud to say, Justin Bubba Speed, adult student, outstanding student, Craig Stevenson, and Mr. Andrew Yan. Fantastic job, folks. Really amazing work. Myself, Mrs. Masaki, Master Bossetter, Mrs. Bossetter, and Mr. Fallon and Miss Dodge, we all know what it's like to be an adult student in martial arts, and you guys are amazing. It's really challenging, and you guys are extraordinary. Now comes the sentimental garbage, where I do my best to keep my voice in control while I talk about sappy nonsense. I have a whole lot of people that I personally need to thank in a really big way because of everything they have done. And unfortunately, some of them have done amazing things for me and very specifically did not want me to talk about them. And a couple of them, I'm going to honor that, but two of them I am going to shout out specifically. My parents, who hopefully are watching this or will receive word of this. I cannot tell you guys, because you rarely see them, how much amazing support my parents have been for me and my family, how much they have done behind the scenes for the Dojang. And sadly, because of their wishes, you guys will never know the extent to which they have helped keep us going and keep me going this year. I really cannot thank them enough. They are two of the most important people in my life, and I honor them and treasure them to the very best of my ability. The leadership team. Yeah, you start applauding now for the leadership team. So most of you know that I took some time away from the school, that myself and Grandmaster Peck, we had a number of conversations about about making all of this happen for a transition for me taking over. And part of those negotiations were discussing individuals like Master Bossetter and Miss Dodge, was bringing up by name individuals like Mr. Fallon for people that I could rely on to run our schools the way that I needed them to be run. I have very high standards about very specific things. I believe that our leaders need to be absolutely unbelievably super heroically awesome. And they have to be model students. They have to be model people. They have to be individuals that do not have blemishes that can be looked at as these paragons of what people can be who have dedicated their lives to martial arts. And I am so fortunate to have that trio at my back, and to have them be at the forefront of doing everything that they had to do this year, because my goodness, did they work incredibly hard, harder than they possibly ever have. And frankly, for so little financial reward for a good portion of the year, because I simply could not afford to pay them what they deserved. I just couldn't. And yet they still put forth even more effort than what they had before COVID started. The fact that we were able to run camps and face-to-face classes and black belt testings, and that we did not have a single occurrence of COVID spreading through any of our community due to our events, is a testament to how extraordinary and how dedicated they are. And so please, please, any opportunity you get to thank them, please thank them for me, because how amazing they are. In particular, some specific things. Master Bossetter, oh my goodness, the year he had. Dealing with COVID, dealing with his day job, dealing with the dojang, and then having a pregnant wife. Oh my goodness, the fact that he did not, I gave him opportunities, saying to him, look, if you need to go and be away and deal with your stuff, it's okay. No, I want to run class. Every time, like I try to push him away, and I literally told him, December, we don't want to see you, go away, and forced that upon him. And he was one of the folks who was pushing the hardest for face-to-face classes to continue. He's one of the folks that pushes hardest to bring face-to-face classes back. He loves teaching you guys, and those of you who are lucky enough to be in his class, you can tell that he loves to teach you guys and lives for it, and is so excited for the week of the 20th, or 22nd, when he gets to start classes again. Miss Dodge, yeah, big cheer for Master Bossetter first. Miss Dodge, I feel like I've inflated her ego enough, and yet not enough. What an amazing young woman. I have known Miss Dodge, I think I've known her longer than any of the members of the leadership team. I have known her since she was many of the kids in the audience age. Like, it's been what, 18 years, 19 years? 17 years, okay. 17 years is a long time. That's longer than Mr. Gross or Mr. Walker been alive. That's horrifying. I've known her since she was a kid. I gave her the nickname Dozer. I did not like her sometimes as a student when she was younger, because if you can imagine how much of a firecracker she is now, imagine teenage Miss Dodge and what kind of firecracker she was then. But an amazing young woman, and deserving of all the success that she has brought upon herself, every opportunity that she has taken a hold of, all the love in the world to Miss Dodge. And then Mr. Fallon, talk about stepping up. Mr. Fallon did way more than was expected of him at every turn. And the thing that I'm actually the proudest of for Mr. Fallon is the amount that that young man trained this year. I was this close to throwing him onto the Student of the Year list and actually getting him a plaque for Student of the Year. Spoilers, I didn't. but I was so close to doing it because frankly, no offense to the actual recipients of Student of the Year, Mr. Fallon was Peck's Martial Arts Student of the Year this year, beyond a shadow of a doubt. He put in the hours, he put in the training, he improved his skills and his knowledge so much. Again, every chance he got, this is unofficial. I don't know about this. I don't know that this thing exists. He put together this group of individuals that hang out at a park on Saturdays. They don't train because we don't do random trainings in parks at Peck's Martial Arts. But they happen to be gathered up in a space together and throwing some kicks and punches and practicing their form. And of course, this was in secret. I didn't know about it. But that was the kind of shenanigans that he pulled nonstop. And you guys just saw the amazing video that he and Mr. Klatt did. I thought it was going to be this little tiny video like is on our YouTube page where it's a couple people pretending to whack each other with sticks. Now he puts together like Captain America levels of crazy action. And so we're going to put him in charge of making us a Peck's movie someday. Big cheer for Mr. Fallon. And then two others. Sorry, I'll let you guys cheer. Two others that I really, really got to give props to. Mrs. Bostetter. Mrs. Bostetter gets pregnant, keeps showing up to help Master Bostetter with the East Side. She's like 6-7 months pregnant, and I have to tell her, look, Mrs. Bostetter, I want you to stay home, to the point that like I'm no longer paying you to come in. I just can't do it right now because you need to stay home. No, just shows up at the East Side, cleans, organizes, fixes up the back room. She refused to stop until the baby said you have to stop. And I think she was like 7.5, 8 months pregnant before she started actually staying home. So unfortunately, she is on the call right now. Fantastic. I have plaque for you for special service. And I thank you so much for everything you've done for us, everything you've done for the East Side. You are a treasure. We do not deserve you. And I look forward to you finding this on the desk at the East Side the next time you go over there and clean, because I know you will without being told to. And then obviously, this one to my left, as much as my parents and the leadership team have done to keep me together for the last year, my new wife, my new life, my new family, my goodness, the long nights, the worry, the anxiety, the anger, the confusion, the chaos, and The Rock, the person that really helped keep me together, that allowed me to help keep the leadership team together, and they in turn help keep the school together. It really comes down to this year. This was everything to me. And again, I hope you all take the opportunity to thank her for me, because she deserves every ounce of gratitude in the universe for keeping us going. And this is not enough, but I also got her a special service award, and I can't thank her enough. It's the only time you're gonna ever see me kiss her, because that's not allowed in the dojang. And with that said, huh?
We're not in the dojang.
We are not in the dojang. Well, we're in the home.
Leadership?
Yes, not quite yet, but soon.
Okay.
Black belts. Despite the fact that we were having a humongous COVID nonsense, at the very beginning of the year, we had a number of folks, a bunch of them are on the call right now, who received their new ranks of deputy, first degree, or second degree black belts. We had some amazing people test for their black belts in COVID conditions, having to deal with an entirely different format of testing, having to be put through the paces of entirely new material or changed material because of COVID. And so real quick, I want to run down the list of our new black belts from 2020. On our Facebook page, we do have an album, and if you've got photos of your black belts that you'd like to send to us, we'd love to get them and put them up there. They go from last year's banquet all the way up to a couple of weeks ago, because they earned their black belts back in 2020. So our new black belts from 2020, Mr. Cameron Claxton, Ms. Kaylee Dunn, Ms. Marion Good, Ms. Asha Kirkala, Mr. Rohan Kirkala, Ms. Kiana Key, Ms. Ciela Schwartz-Mooney, Mr. Tekafel Stapleton, and Mr. Jay Timmerman. Big hand for the new Deputy Blacks. Incredible work. Our new Shodans, the first degree black belts, the black belts that actually have their name, their rank, and our school imprinted on their belts. Some amazing new Shodans. We've got Miss Sophia Bossetter, Mr. Iyasu Cranley, Mrs. Heather Misaki, Miss Ellie Sund, Mr. Isaac Sund, and Mr. Cabrin Walker. Big congratulations to all you guys. And once again, ranking up in the time of COVID, Mr. Fallon getting his second Dan during 2020 is absolutely extraordinary. Fantastic job, Mr. Fallon. And then at last year's banquet, well-deserved, well-earned, getting her belt and certificate, third Dan, Miss Carly Dodge. I need a sip of water. Happen to have a microphone if you want. All right, Leadership Award. This for me is vitally important because this is not about martial arts. This is about what martial arts does to a person. This is about martial arts helping someone develop confidence through competence. It's about martial arts helping someone develop into a good role model, a good example for others. It's about making people who are great into people that are amazing. And leadership for us oftentimes comes down to demonstrating that leadership in the classroom. But for a lot of these folks, that leadership began as students, where they were respectful, where they had great attitude, where they worked hard, where they were dedicated and showing up to class constantly. This is one tier down from the Student of the Year award for a reason, because these guys are just amazing at being leaders of our community. Leadership Award nominees are Mr. Josh Birnbaum, Mr. Cam Plexton, Mr. Iyasu Cranley, Mr. Arad Fleminger, Mr. Aiden Gross, Mr. John Klatt, Miss Levity Culp, Miss Trinity Culp, Mrs. Heather Misaki, and Mr. Cabrin Walker. Amazing people all. And this year, winners for this award are Mr. Arad Fleminger and Miss Trinity Culp. Fantastic work. Keep it up. You're now obligated to. All right.
And I know who got Student of the Year.
Yeah, you do.
So-
Shush, shush. So, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We are down to the final award. And there's a bunch of Kyosas, our leaders, who are smiling from ear to ear because I didn't tell them who won this award. All they know is who got nominated. Okay, they know who won every other award. This one is picked only by me. I did not put this in the program, the names of the nominees, because it is important to me that the people who are nominated for Student of the Year understand what kind of honor it is to be nominated. I believe at least one, if not two members of our leadership team won Student of the Year in the past. It is everything that the Leadership Award is, plus being an extraordinary martial artist. And so our 8 nominees for Student of the Year this year: Miss Kaylee Dunn, Miss May Dreyer, Miss Ellie Fleminger, Miss Marion Good, Miss Sophie Jenkins, Liza Richardson, Miss Ciela Schwartz-Mooney, and Mr. Andrew Yan. And I'm glad that everyone's applauding because they all deserve a huge round of applause for their amazingness. So this is it. Here we are. the two PEX Student of the Year for 2020, Miss Marion Good and Miss Ciela Schwartz Mooney. Huge congratulations. You two are extraordinary. We love you. Keep up the amazing work. So with that, it is frankly time to say thank you and goodbye. It's been a year. It really has. And the fact that we can cap off this year with something amazingly positive, that we have anything to celebrate at all, and the fact that we have so much to celebrate says a lot about this community and how amazing all of you are. We really pushed through and endured something that was hard to endure. And not only did we do it, we did it well. We were amazing. And I credit the parents, the students, the leadership team, and every other person that supports all of you with how well we have come through all of this. So I thank you all so much from the very bottom of my heart. We are planning on keeping this room open for a little while after so that we can chat, but the YouTube stream is going to be turning off very shortly. I thank you so very much. Kamsahamnida, and thank you to the leadership team. Thank you to our students. Thank you to our parents. And I look forward to seeing you properly in person in a year's time. Thanks very much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys in class.